I wanted to do this video around Christmas time, towards the end of the year, and I never got around to doing it. Today, we are doing my Premier League team of the decade. And trust me, it is going to be so difficult, especially when it comes to the attack. There have been some, wow, amazing talents over the years. Some incredible players, but also some players that will feature in this episode that maybe should have won it if it was in the decade before the last decade, you know? Players like maybe Steven Gerrard, John Terry, when they featured maybe primarily between 05 to 10, but they still played a little bit in this decade. So I've got to say before we start the video that those players might not make it, because it seems unfair if they only played the first 3 years of this decade. So there might be some controversial decisions, but just remember, as I said with my Arsenal team of the decade, this is my opinion. You can have your own opinion. Please do put your opinion in the comments. I'll be reading through them, but this is my team of the decade in the Premier League from 2010 to the end of 2019. And I've got to say as well, I'm not doing the usual 4-4-2. I'm going to go with a 4-3-3. Part of me wanted to go with a 3-4-3. So maybe as I go through this video, I might switch it up and just go with 3 centre-backs, because let's be honest, left-backs and right-backs, not so many names pop up straight away, whereas centre-backs, there's so many. So what do I go with? 4-3-3 or 3-4-3? I think I go 3-4-3. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So if you're looking for left-backs and right-backs, I'll mention them, but they're probably not going to make it into the team. Right, so we begin. We are going to be starting off with the goalkeeper. So we have Kasper Schmeichel, we have Lloris, we have Joe Hart, we've got Edison, we've got David De Gea, Courtois, and Petr Cech. I'm in Photoshop at the moment, that's why you can see all these weird lines, but try and ignore them. It was so much easier in my head to just click and drag things around, so that's what I wanted to do with this video. So what I'm going to do in each position is just rule out the players that I don't think should be there, and then maybe make it into a final 3 and then decide. So Kasper Schmeichel is not going to make it, in my opinion, so he's gone. I'm also going to take out Edison. I don't think he's been playing at the top of his game for long enough. I mean, the last 2 seasons, 3 seasons, yeah, he's been a top goalkeeper, but we're talking over the decade here. I think that also means Courtois is probably out. He was only at Chelsea for, what, 3 years in the Premier League or something like that. So I think that's fair to say. I think we've got 4 very good contenders here. I think I'm going to take out Lloris because, well, Tottenham haven't won anything. And this is the Premier League team of the decade. It's not players who won the World Cup like Lloris did. You've got 3 very good goalkeepers here. Joe Hart, who was part of that incredible Man City team that started to win the Premier League trophies. You've then got Petr Cech, who was incredible, arguably the best goalkeeper in Premier League history while he was at Chelsea, not so much at Arsenal. And then you've got David De Gea, who out of the 3, I think has the best raw ability. But over the last few seasons, he hasn't done so well. But I think David De Gea and Cech are the best 2 here, so Joe Hart will go. And ultimately, I think Petr Cech should be the one in goal. I would have Petr Cech, so that's what I'm going to do. He goes in goal, and David De Gea is gone. So we've started strongly. Petr Cech is going to be the goalkeeper, and now we move on to defenders. This is going to be tough, especially because we're doing 3 at the back. That rules out players like Zabaleta, who's come up first, so he is going to be gone. We've got Kyle Walker, who can play centre-back, I guess. You've got some other greats here. Just, oh my God. It just gets better and better. It is unbelievable. Oh my God, there's more. Okay, right. I think straight away, I'm going to take out the left-backs and right-backs that I don't think make it into the team. I know Patrice Evra was in quite a few people's teams, but I don't know. Leighton Baines was good, but I'm going to get rid of him. I think John Terry was definitely more the decade before. I think that's the same with these 2. Ivanovic, no. Walker, no. So it leaves these 3, and that's that's going to be my choice, I guess. We'll go with Van Dijk, we'll go with Azpilicueta, and we'll go with Vincent Kompany in the middle of the three. How about that? Of this decade, name me a better defender than those three that I didn't already have here. Okay, so the players that I've dragged off, some of them were incredible, by the way. Absolutely incredible players like John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, these incredible defenders, but I just don't think it's fair for them to win this decade when they only played a couple of years. Whereas players like Van Dijk, who, yes, he's only been at the very, very top of world football for the last 2 seasons or so, he was still incredible at Southampton. So I think he definitely gets into my team, and I think Kompany and Azpilicueta both make it as well. I think that's fair enough. And just remember, please, before you leave a hate comment, it's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's absolutely fine. Let's have a look at midfielders now. This is going to get really tough. So we've got Frank Lampard, who actually I am going to count into this decade because I think he did a lot this decade. Same with Steven Gerrard. You've got Michael Carrick, Yaya Toure, Kante, Fernandinho, Cesc Fabregas, De Bruyne, and David Silva. My God. You've got some insane midfielders in there. Again, I'm going to do the ruling out process. So for me, I'm going to rule out Michael Carrick because I don't think he's better than anyone else here. Still an incredible player. You've got to remember, every player in this shortlist is truly one of the greats. I just don't think he's on the same level as some of the others. Still a very good player, of course. I'm also going to take out Cesc Fabregas. I think all of these players have done more in this decade. That might be debatable, and maybe there's a slight little anti-Fabregas in me because of what happened with him leaving Arsenal. But no, honestly, I would have these guys in my team over Cesc Fabregas. There's one player here that 100% gets in the team for me, and that is going to be David Silva. So I think he goes in. I think... Oh, it's so difficult. Oh, my God. Why am I doing this to myself? Because I want Yaya Toure in there as well. And I want De Bruyne, and I want Kante in there, and I want Gerrard. I can't. Should we be fair and maybe say... Yeah, I'm going to do that just because I know some people might be thinking it. I think it's only fair that Lampard and Gerrard probably shouldn't be taken into account because the other players have been here for pretty much the whole decade. So... Okay, even though they would probably get in the team, they're going to go. So we're going to stick with these guys. How the hell do I do 4 midfielders there? Okay. I think David Silva, Yaya Toure, Kante, and De Bruyne. I think Fernandinho comes out. I think those 4 players are just better. And by the way, I wouldn't play David Silva as a left midfielder or De Bruyne as a right midfielder. Just think of this as potentially a diamond or something like that. Just trying to get the players in, okay, it's very difficult. But now, for the hardest part of the video, that is attackers. And I've been dreading this. As soon as I knew I was going to be making this video, I just... So difficult. So we're going to pick a striker and then 2 wingers. I think that's fair. I think that's the only way we're going to be able to do this. Let's see who we've got. Vardy, Van Persie, Tevez, Suarez, Kane, Hazard, Aguero, Sterling, Sanchez, oh my God, Salah, Mane, and that's all of them. What the hell do I do here? How? Okay, let's straight away kick this off. Sterling is not going to be in my team. He's been a bit of a late bloomer of the decade, isn't he? He started really gaining some momentum in the last few seasons. There's no way he's a player of the decade when you've got players like Aguero, who have literally played almost every season this decade, you know? I think that's going to be the same for Salah. Arguably one of the best here, but as player of the decade, I don't think so. I think that's the same with Mane, unfortunately. I think that's also going to be the same with Sanchez. He was amazing at Arsenal, no doubt about it, but went to Man United and flopped, and he hasn't really done enough. I know he was a big part of us winning the FA Cups, but he isn't a player of the decade, that's for sure. So that's helped a little bit. I'm going to take out Tevez and probably Vardy. Vardy is a special player. He deserves a special mention because of where he's come from. Literally from nothing to arguably one of the best strikers in the Premier League. No joke, he is top scorer right now in the league. He's scoring every game. He's got the record twice for scoring in the most consecutive games in the Premier League. There is no doubt in my mind that he's one of the best finishers here. But is he better than Van Persie, Aguero, Hazard, Kane and Suarez? The answer to that question is no, he isn't. So he's gone. I'm going to take out... I think I take out Van Persie. And I know people are going to just say it's because I hate him. That's not true. I respect Van Persie as a player. He's come out and said why he left Arsenal, and I'm not going to go through it. You guys can go ahead and watch the video. I think it was BT Sport that uploaded it. I think he left in a bad way, but I understand his decision now, and he went on to win the title at Man United. It totally made sense. But throughout the length of the decade, I think all four of these players maybe have... Oh, no. Harry Kane. Has he done more than Van Persie? That the way I'm seeing this now is I'm dropping one of these two at the moment. I think Aguero, Hazard and Suarez cannot be touched. Those are technically my three, I guess, then, because they can't be touched. How can you take them out? But then Suarez did so great at Liverpool for a couple of years and then he was gone. Has Harry Kane done more in the Premier League this decade than Suarez? Or the last decade, sorry? I don't know. You've got to put it down to trophies as well, I guess. So that puts Aguero, Hazard, Robin Van Persie up higher. What did Liverpool win with Suarez? I don't actually know. Maybe a couple of League Cups. And then you've got Kane, who hasn't won a single... No, Harry Kane, I'm sorry, you're gone. Oh my God. I knew this video would suck. I knew it. This is so difficult. Okay. So for me, Aguero is the striker. Because he has to be. And I think Hazard has to be the left winger. So now it's between Van Persie and Suarez. Now, Van Persie, I know he's a striker and so is Suarez. But for the sake of this video, I've got to put one of them in here. And I think it's going to be... I think purely because Van Persie literally won Manchester United the title, I think Suarez goes. That's actually disgusting, though. I hate myself a little bit. I really do. Let me just get this all level so you can see the official team. I mean, it's a banging squad, isn't it? It's rather incredible. So let me go through each of my choices and try and explain a little bit better why they're in my squad. There are players that I've dropped that I would love to put in this team, but just can't. So Petr Cech, I think, is the best goalkeeper of the Premier League era. But raw talent-wise, he's not. He's a shot stopper. He's not David De Gea with the reflexes, saving shots with his feet. But Petr Cech won trophies. He won the Champions League, FA Cups, Premier Leagues. He saved so many monumental moments where Chelsea might have gone behind, whatever. He is, I think, the only choice that goes in there. And then you've got Azpilicueta for the same reasons, really. And also because, well, who else do you put in there? Azpilicueta's won the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup. I'm pretty sure he's won all of them. And he's still playing now at the top of his game. So he gets in for me. Company, I mean, come on. Do you really need to explain? Company, I think, might just be the best defender physically, defensively. Him and Van Dijk, I don't think can be touched. But also, Company was a true leader, similar to Vidic in the last decade and Terry. I feel like he had the brains as well. He's just a very intelligent footballer. And Van Dijk goes down for me as right now the best defender in the world and single-handedly the biggest signing any team has made in the last decade in the Premier League. He changed Liverpool. So you might not think he deserves to be in there because he's only been good for a couple of years, but I completely disagree. He was incredible at Southampton. That's why Liverpool bought him for such a high amount of money. And look what happened. He changed them. So he goes in my team. And then you've got David Silva. I mean, really? You're going to try and argue about having David Silva in this team? No chance. He, for me, might be the most consistent player. I think he's got the most assists since he started in the Premier League than anyone else. I mean, that says enough, really. Yaya Toure and Kante midfield. Yaya Toure just, I mean, he's the ultimate midfielder, isn't he? Powerful, tall, clever. He's got great feet. His dribbling, his shooting, his defence work, his attack work. He's got everything. Kante winning a Premier League with Leicester, and ideally you'd say carrying them to winning the league. I know they had Mahrez and Vardy and stuff like that, but honestly, Kante was integral. And then going to Chelsea and winning the title again. How many players can do that? He has to be in this team of the decade. He absolutely has to. And then De Bruyne on the right, for me right now, the best midfielder in the league. Untouchable in terms of assists and creativity. All four of these players deserve to be in there. However, if Steven Gerrard and Lampard could be counted, I think they go in over Kante and Yaya Toure. But I think it was fair to take them out. And then as the front three, you've got Eden Hazard, Chelsea's, well, one of their best players in their history. He's gone to Madrid now, which is a shame. I actually miss him myself. Silky dribbler, so many goals, and just what a signing. What a signing he was. One of the best wingers I've ever watched. And then you've got Aguero up top, as if anyone else was going to be there, consistently at the very top. Even this season, even though it's not been his best few years, he's still banging in those goals. And he changed City when he signed. He really did. And then Van Persie cutting in from that right side on his left foot, purely because of that one season at Arsenal where he was the best striker in the world almost, I would say. He was remarkably good. And then going to Manchester United, and I mean this, more than Kante carried Leicester, more than Van Dijk has carried Liverpool defensively, Van Persie won Manchester United the title. Their squad was depleted. It wasn't as strong as it's been. Van Persie won them the league. Simple as that. It's the best money they ever spent on a player, debatably. And I regret that moment we sold him every day of my life, it feels like. Van Persie, man, why? Why did you have to go? Not that Arsenal would have won the title, but Manchester United with their winning mentality, even with a couple of players not at their very best, he was just able to tip them over the edge. So that is going to be my team of the decade. I know a lot of these videos, when I upload them, get quite a lot of controversial comments. People saying that I'm talking rubbish, that I don't know what I'm talking about. So again, just want to remind you before you leave your horrible comments and dislike the video, it was my opinion. It's completely nothing to do with your opinions. And if you have your own, that's great. I would love to know your Premier League team of the decade and tell me what I got wrong. But please be nice about it. It's just a bit of fun. That would be my team. I think that would win the Premier League every single year if they all stayed the same age. But thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video and I will see you next time.